got a lot to talk about today, guys, so get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below. Yeah, just to start with, isn't this an awesome Halloween display? I love it. This was just an amazing UFO fixture or whatever. That's just awesome. Yeah, they did a great job. Look at that cow. Poor cow. Don't take the cows. Leave the cows alone. Oh, that's pretty cool, though. Let's see, what have we got in the news today? Well, Dick Cheney has passed away. How is that significant? Well, a lot of people believe that he is a prominent gatekeeper of the UFO control group, or MJ-12.
I talked to a high-level UFO whistleblower last year, and I said to him, who among all the people in society is keeping this secret? Who sits atop the pyramid of classified information about UFOs? And I thought he was going to say something strange, like the Grand Mason of the, Scottish Rite Lodge, or Prince Charles, or the Mossad. But he said, Dick Cheney. I talked to a high level.
Yeah, so that's what a lot of people think about Dick Cheney, is that he is this high-level dude in the UFO control group. And hey, it wouldn't surprise me at all if that were the case. And he certainly hasn't said anything publicly, or he never did say anything publicly that I can remember about UFOs. But of course, he wouldn't, right? So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's the case or not, and I want to be sensitive. He is a human being that passed away. But it's interesting, and if that is indeed the case, if he was a prominent gatekeeper or a prominent member in some capacity of the UFO control group, one might imagine there is possibly a shakeup now in the power command if that was the case. Of course, I'm sure they have redundancies upon redundancies in the UFO control group, but that's certainly interesting. What else is interesting is technology is picking up ghosts underwater. 9,000 mysterious objects spotted off U.S. shores. Experts are baffled. This is from the Times of India. A popular UFO tracking platform is making waves, after recording tens of thousands of mysterious underwater objects off the United States coastlines. According to Marine Technology News, users of Enigma, a nonpartisan organization that claims to host the largest queryable historical sighting database for global UFO sightings, have logged more than 9,000 unidentified underwater sightings within 10 miles of U.S. shorelines since August 2025. The sightings, categorized as unidentified submersible objects, USOs, refer to any object detected underwater that cannot be immediately explained or identified. Coastal hotspots. Because I've talked about Enigma before and what they've been finding. I just think that's super fascinating. We have the civilian app, or the civilian program that is detecting these USOs. And I think, one of the key features is it's, theoretically not controlled by, Dick Cheney or, the UFO control group, but also that civilians can use this to try to understand patterns and hotspots of the phenomenon. Coastal hotspots and curious patterns. Since its launch in 2022, Enigma has cataloged nearly 30,000 UFO sightings worldwide. But the new wave of reports suggests a growing focus on what's happening beneath the surface. And this is exactly what multiple congresspeople, including Tim Burchett, Eric Burleson, and Anna Paulina Luna, have recently spoken to. Anna even talked about the frickin' Bermuda Triangle. I love it. But yeah, apparently that's a thing, right? And you can track this stuff. Of the 9,000 underwater sightings logged in recent months, around 500 were reported within just 5 miles of U.S. coastlines, while more than 150 objects were observed hovering above or plunging into major bodies of water. Data published by Enigma and reported by Marine Technology News show California and Florida leading the tally, with 389 and 306 sightings, respectively. Several clusters of high activity have been detected near specific coastal zones, prompting both public intrigue and quiet concern among defense analysts. Yeah, we either don't understand it or our tech is seeing ghosts. Well, I don't think they're seeing ghosts. I think they're seeing UFOs, guys. But let me know your temperature in the comments below. Meanwhile, I have not seen this yet, but I wanted to direct your attention to it and get your feedback if you have seen it. Ross Coulthart says, very excited to bring this James Fox story to reality check. We interviewed James about his extraordinary new Virginia Brazil evidence. Yeah, the Virginia case, one of the best and most intriguing cases out there that James Fox made his movie Moment of Contact about. And if you haven't seen that doc, I highly recommend it. Great stuff. Well, apparently a senior hospital neurosurgeon is describing his face-to-face contact with a live alien in telepathic communication. Now, we've heard this story before, but not with an interview with Ross Coulthart. So I'm really excited to see that. And I wonder if you guys have and what you thought about it. Is there anything new there that we haven't heard before about this amazing telepathic communication with this Virginia alien being? And the Virginia case just gets weirder and more interesting now that it appears like it may have some connection with the Nazca mummies. Because in that treasure trove of artifacts from the Citadel, the site where the Nazca mummies were found, is a little carving of what looks like the head of a Virginia being. Like it's a dead ringer for that being. I mean, it is that being. Or one of that type of being, that race of being. So, and somehow those beings were connected to the Nazca mummies. Are they one and the same? Did the Virginia beings create the Nazca mummies? Were the Virginia beings abducted by the race of being that created the Nazca mummies? What's the real story on all of that? I don't know, but if there is a connection and the Virginia beings weren't simply abducted by that UFO that crashed in that area in Brazil, then it might indicate that the Virginia beings did indeed have UFOs, and by extension that the Nazca beings may have had access to that technology, which I don't think really bears out because they were living in rough conditions and dying violently. So, but we need to know. So, yeah, really interesting stuff there. Let's see. Moving on. Avi Loeb is going to turn Kim Kardashian into a scientist.
Okay, maybe we should ask Kim Kardashian to, maybe she can ask for the photo.
Well, I will be delighted to tell Kim Kardashian all the details about 3i Atlas and explain to her why science is so valuable, and maybe she will become a scientist. I would love to engage her in my research. So here is an official statement. Kim, don't hesitate to contact me. I'll give you much more information than you got from the acting administrator of NASA so far.
Okay, well, I'm sure Kim is going to get right on that, and she is going to become a scientist and an aficionado of 3i Atlas and Oumuamua and all that other stuff that Avi is into. But I do think that's a valid point that once we have, cultural leaders, oh my God, I can't even imagine I'm saying that. But, it is what it is. These personalities that are very influential, influencers, once we have them on board talking about the reality of UFOs, then I think we're going to get a lot more people on board with this stuff. And there's the whole idea that the phenomenon isn't going to reveal itself openly and that we're not going to have UFO disclosure until we are ready. Well, getting people like Kim Kardashian and other influencers talking about this seriously and actually knowing what they're talking about and spreading that amongst the masses, the populace, that could get the people of the world ready for contact. At which point, maybe the phenomenon would actually do it. So, hey, Kim, I hope you do contact Avi. Meanwhile, this is interesting. From UAP Reporting Center at the Seoul Symposium, Jake Barber explained why Skywatcher went dark. Their fully open approach to UAP research backfired, and amid government secrecy. Now in level 3, focused on data analysis and independent review, he says results should drop by year's end, and hinted their work may have sparked the Palmdale UAP flap. Well, that's an interesting idea. Actually, there have been a couple of at least 2 or 3 incidents at Palmdale. Interesting location, and I've talked about that. I don't know if Jake's work or Skywatcher's work caused that, although, who knows? Maybe. I'd love to know what he means by that. But yeah, it's frustrating that there is this, idea that their research backfired. I'm not sure how it could have backfired, but it says it backfired amid government secrecy. So does that mean by going public it backfired? What exactly is going on here? And how exactly did it backfire? How did government secrecy interfere with what they were doing? Were they too open, too public? They went too far, too fast, and the government, stepped in and shut them down? Well, if that's the case, then why are we going to get results by year's end? Either way, I can't wait to see what Skywatcher does have in store for us in the next couple of months. Hopefully. I have a lot of hopes pinned on Skywatcher. I really do. Civilian organization using the tools of the control group to bring UFO disclosure and getting this stuff peer-reviewed, which we're now starting to see with Dr. Beatrice Villarreal and at least a couple of peer-reviewed papers on the Nazca mummies. So this stuff is slowly starting to become accepted by mainstream science. But something like this, where multiple people are seeing UFOs in the here and now, not an historical case, could make a huge impact if they could get that peer-reviewed. So, and also, I just want to know what the heck they're dealing with. They're dealing with sky squid, they're dealing with blobs and manta rays. I want to know all about that, guys. I think that's just incredible. Let's see. Meanwhile, from Stephen Diener at the UAP podcast, some interesting statements from Eric Burleson about where we are with UFO disclosure in Congress. Are they actually going to be able to proceed with the UAP disclosure amendment, either as a standalone amendment or as a part of the NDAA?
If and when the UAP Disclosure Act does get passed, Eric, say like on the standalone act that you're crafting with Danny Sheehan, what should we expect to happen? Let's say it gets through, right, and everything's good to go. What happens next, do you think? What are you hoping happens next, and what would this bring about if the Disclosure Act goes through?
Well, it creates kind of a commission of individuals whose job it would be to gather this information and it operate very much in the same way that the JFK Disclosure Act did, where they can submit items for disclosure, and then unless the White House takes action to stop it, then it ends up being disclosed. I found that has been, while I originally was skeptical, I've realized today that the JFK Disclosure Act has been pretty successful. And I say that because there's a lot of files recently that have been released that the CIA did not want released for valid reasons, or at least to them valid reasons, because a lot of these files really put the CIA in a very dark light. And so the fact that they're forced to release this information, I think is proof or evidence that the JFK Disclosure Act and that language within that act works. And so why try to reinvent the wheel? Let's just take what was working and apply it towards the UAP topic.
Well, I guess it kind of worked. We did get some stuff out of the JFK files that did implicate the CIA, or at least made them look bad. Definitely made them look like they were hiding stuff. Somewhat damning, but somewhat isn't all the way, is it? And we want all the way on UFO disclosure. We don't want just a document dump of a bunch of stuff, and then some of it is slightly suggestive of something, which is kind of what we got with the JFK files. We want the full Monty, or at least enough of the Monty to provide actual UFO disclosure, which will then galvanize more action and more transparency. It will galvanize the public to get heavily involved in this. And then that'll force Congress and the president to provide disclosure. When we have massive, overwhelming, public opinion in favor of that, which is, again, where those influencers and stuff could come in handy. And it could all synchronize. We could get some influencers on board. We could get Congress with their review board and, the disclosure amendment passed and, get some stuff out there that then will be utilized to galvanize the public by influencers. Yeah, maybe. We'll see what happens. It's all theoretical until it happens. But yeah, I mean, whatever they're going to do in Congress with the amendment, the disclosure amendment, it's got to be better than what we have now. So I'm all for whatever they can do. I'm very skeptical about this gatekeeping committee. And then if they deign to actually release something, then it has to go through the president to see if he or she at that time wants to release anything. Presidents have not been very forthcoming so far. I don't know if they can be. Now, Trump may be an outlier because, according to the Project Preserve Destiny information from Italy, he has tried to take some control away from the Pentagon in terms of the UFO control group. So does that mean that he could do something different than any president has ever done regarding disclosure? Well, he hasn't yet. So the ball's in your court, President, and we'll see what Congress does. Let's see what else we got. We had this one from Stephen Greenstreet. Breaking: China has an underwater jellyfish ghost drone controlled by AI that can spy without being detected, according to Chinese state media. All right, I'll just let this play. This will be my cute animal video. China has their own Lovecraftian USO here. I love it. Of course, Stephen and others are probably trying to run with this story to counteract the enigma information about all those hundreds and thousands of UFOs off the coasts. They're trying to suggest that some of this is all Chinese, is all Chinese drones, guys. They can't do seagulls very well underwater, so it's going to be robotic jellyfish, I guess. But anyway, let me know what you think about it all in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Hit the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. Love to see you guys there. If you want to support the channel in a bigger way, consider grabbing a coffee mug or a t-shirt in the merch store below, or becoming a channel member. Channel members are rock stars, and I really do appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. Meanwhile, plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.